So if you're thinking about doing a podcast, I highly suggest you use Anchor, and here's why. Now, first things first, it's free, and you can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. I'm talking dollar bills, y'all. Plus, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you to the major platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a bunch of others, so that's one less thing you got to worry about. And they got all the tools you need to record and edit your podcast in one spot. And you can do all that from your phone or your computer. So, in my opinion, it's really the easiest way to make a podcast. Now, if that's what you're looking for and you're ready to jump on it, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise.
Alright, so a few things real quick. One, the October podcast happy hour is up and running. It was on Jay's platform, Jay's Quick 3. So the link to that is in the episode notes. September was Autumn's platform, which is the Lit Life podcast. And the link to the live Facebook and YouTube is in the episode notes. And then if you missed August, you must be a new listener because it was on my platform. So you should go ahead and scroll on up through the episodes, or I even made it easy for you, and the Apple Podcasts and Spotify link is in the episode notes, but I mean, literally just scroll up. So then November is going to be live on Audrey's platform, Odd Tales Podcast. More to come on that as we get a date finalized. That's going to be a live episode, so you'll definitely want to check that out. And without further ado, let me let you go ahead and get off into the episode. Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to the show. So if you're new, thank you so much for checking me out. Make sure you come back. New episodes drop every Thursday. All my day one, I can never talk, but all my day one listeners, thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. You know, I got nothing but love for y'all. If you're not, you should definitely be following me on social media. So the links to all that is in the episode notes. So let's go ahead and get into the show. I got a special guest today. He is one of the podcast OGs from what I kind of just gather and have learned kind of observing him in the community. He's currently the host of Nuts and Guts podcast, which drops whenever he feels like it, literally. But then he's got a whole bunch of other stuff that he's doing, and that's kind of why I brought him on the show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Blk Paco to the show. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, babe? How you feeling?
You know, I'm good. It's not too hot here. Still kind of fall-ish weather, but not that cold, rainy bull that we had, you know, last week or whatever.
What city are you in?
I live in Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah. At least she didn't have the reaction some other people have where they're like, what? You live in Nebraska? Yeah, man, we out here. We out here in Nebraska.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know.
My goodness.
The only thing I know about Nebraska, the white girl that got in trouble on Full House, they used to always talk about somewhere in Nebraska, I think. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if that was before your time.
Man, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you.
You didn't watch Full House?
I did, but I don't remember her saying nothing about Nebraska. You ain't never heard of the Cornhuskers, though. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, college football.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why y'all be acting like it's just whatever, man.
It's all good.
But yeah, so I wanted you have you come on because man, like you're just doing a lot, like from what I can see from social media, of course, podcasting. So let's start with that. How long have you been podcasting and like what made you even start?
Um, I've been podcasting 5 years. I started like I just always been like a character. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I just love to just be free. And I was like, man, they're gonna let you talk on a microphone, and then people be able to tune in. It's not radio, it's no commercials, it's no same music playing every 5 minutes. Like I
Right.
was down, and so I started with two other gentlemen, and I don't know, and that didn't work out, but everybody have like creative differences and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
but go ahead. I don't want to talk too much.
All right.
Right.
So you've had a few shows from what I can see, or at least what I've heard. I've more so heard of other people who have talked about listening to your show, like, Autumn. Shout out to Autumn, Audrey, Chris, J Bug, my pod sister. So but Nuts and Guts, I've actually been listening to a lot of your episodes, especially like even today earlier, because whenever I'm recording with someone, it's like when you feel like you got rapport with them, it just for me, it just feels like it flows better. And so I'll usually listen to people before I have them on. Um, how did you get started with Smoke Free Weekend? Because that's kind of where I met you, not met you, but started interacting with you on Twitter before Rona ruined that. So I was actually going to try to come cuz Autumn I heard about it on her show. So what made you start like such a I don't know, it seems really cool to think of a whole bunch of podcasters just getting together kicking it.
If you and that's the thing too. If you never been in a room with a bunch of creators and a bunch of just funny people, and whether your podcast is hilarious or it's serious or it's about walking through the woods, whatever, like that's what the event is about. It started off in Cleveland here.
Mhm.
And I just told myself, I said if I stop smoking cigarettes for a year, I'm gonna throw myself a party. I had the whole outfit picked out. It was gonna be a
Aw.
suit with a bow tie. I said
Okay,
I'm
okay.
gonna get a cake made, like a pack of Newports. And I did. I accomplished all my goals. And
Aw.
so I had the party. Some people from out of town came in, and then it was actually Penrose's idea about Vegas, and
Mhm.
he didn't make it. Things happen, I wish the brother well, whatever. But and so we decided to go out to Vegas and have Smoke Free Weekend out there. You know what I'm saying? And
So Smoke
you
Free
know,
Weekend was so when was the first event?
the
Last
first
year?
event, no, the first event was in 2019. Yep, in
Okay.
Cleveland here.
So then this was gonna be the next like the bigger one.
Yeah, right. This was like everybody and their mama. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
was going to be like 60 people there. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yeah.
All walks of life, from around the country.
Yeah, Rona definitely is out here hating on all types of stuff. Like I said, when I heard about it, and then once I like started becoming cool, more so with Autumn, because I kind of met her first out of my little crew, as I like to say. Shout out to the podcast happy hour once again. But I remember telling my homegirl, like, I really want to try to go to this because, you interact with people on Twitter, you have such great rapport. We all have this same thing in common, a podcasting. And so I was like, go with me. You know what I mean? That way I'll at least come with somebody I know. And she's super friendly too. So originally that was the plan until, Rona and whatnot.
For sure.
But then so, okay, here's what I've learned from about you from your show, social media, all that good stuff, which I really love your show because it's hella encouraging, but like in an unorthodox way. Like, so the first episode, you kind of went on this tangent about Miss Flat Booty. And then even on the episode,
Do
I
you
think
fall in that criteria, or you don't know?
no, sir. But
Okay.
but you went on this.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. But you went on this tangent about that. But then also, I think it was I wrote the title somewhere, but I can't find it. The most recent one, oh, No Rules in Podcasting episode. That one, you kind of like told the fellas, you was like, show your titties, stop covering up with your t-shirts. And so obviously I'm cracking up when I'm listening to this, but then when I'm listening to what you're actually saying through that, you're really telling people like, hey, embrace your bodies, don't be scared to show your flaws. So like, and I see that's a lot of the woven message throughout all the, you know what I'm saying, stuff that you're saying that'll have me cracking up. But it's like there's always, I've noticed a lot of depth to what you're saying, and you really want to like encourage people and all that good stuff. Like, what's the drive behind that? Because everybody has their reasons for why they, promote what they promote on their shows.
For sure. I man, I'm just tired of seeing the same thing from everybody. Everybody's afraid to just. It seems like everybody, it looks the same. You know what I mean? If you got to wear a certain thing, or your hair got to be a certain way, or it's just we deceive ourselves to feel. It builds this false confidence. And it's just like, it's nothing wrong with being who you are. You know what I mean? Of course, like, look, I got braces. You know what I mean? Of course, if you don't like something, change it or whatever. But, even like with a lot of the surgeries and stuff like that, who knows what that stuff is going to do to a person's body in 20 years? You know what I mean? And it's just like, when I say certain things, people just always got to put a negative spin to it, and I'm just saying, no, like, man, yo, somebody will still bend you over, sweetheart. Like, yo, man, embrace. Like, embrace who you are, embrace and love yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what I want people to, yo, man, you ate them cheeseburgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, boom. So now you gonna be looking all crazy with a black t-shirt on in the pool. Like, nah, man, take that shirt off, man. And hey, if you don't like it, change it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that part about the surgeries, there's this fitness lady that I follow on Instagram who has been very public about, she had got some sort of booty injections back in the day, and she had to have them removed because it was getting to the point of like infection, and I could be a little bit off on the reason why, but it did cause a health concern. And like her journey of all the surgeries she had to have, and then she had like hella scar tissue that had to be, it was just crazy what she's gone through. Just and it's like, the thing is, you could do squats and stuff. There's like things you can do, workouts too. I've watched people take their body from what they didn't want to all the goals, you know what I'm saying, they want. And yeah, you on the episode I listened to earlier, you said something about there's no shortcuts. Like I said, I listen, usually, unless I know the person well, I'll usually listen to their show just to kind of, you know what I mean?
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. And so then with that, you started off with podcasting, and then you get into basically almost like hosting events, event promoter, and that type of stuff. You, I see, are starting smokefreemedia. I noticed that, and also getting into photography. What I kind of see is that you are not letting anyone keep you in this box. You're kind of like creating your own lane.
You have to.
Yeah.
You just have to, like, like, we get into a situation, it's like, oh, well, you're supposed to do this, or you can't go there. No, you're not supposed to. And the minute that you try, like, create the friction, then people just start. And I don't necessarily, because hate is such a strong word, but people start to, form these opinions or ideas that, who do that person think they are, but I like to shake things up a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't like to be one way all the time. Maybe I want to take some photos. And Nuts and Guts podcast is going to be more than just audio. It's going to be more than just being in one location, talking to just regular people or regular podcasters. Like, I want to just see how far I can take it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't really see how far you can take something if you stay in this little bubble. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's it. That's all. I'm just trying. You know what I mean? And then a lot of times that causes friction.
I mean, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, even with me with podcasting, like, I always classify myself as a writer. I never even, like, I do poetry, spoken word, I've performed and done all that, but it's never been anything I've really liked to do as far as speaking in front of people, even though even jobs I've had required that. But if I stayed in that box, I wouldn't be podcasting, because I never would have thought of myself as, I didn't even really know what podcasting was. And now it's like something I can't see me not doing, you know what I mean? And it's been such a healthy outlet for me. And so I'm always a fan of watching people's journeys. That's kind of why I brought you on here, because the little bit I've seen about your journey, it's like, wow, he's really just out here going after it. And kind of like I hear you talk about on your shows, it's like, if it works out, it works out. You've talked about different things even that you can do. Like you said, you've done song producing, clothing, and all this stuff. But one of the things I want you to unpack that you said is, don't walk over $1 to pick up a dime. What did you mean by that?
Well, I think we complain about the small things, and sometimes the small things that we complain about, we just get it out of our system. Or I guess, like, an example I could use is probably like, if you didn't have a car, and
been there,
right? No, we all been down before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a, hey, whatever. So if you don't have a car, but it's an opportunity across town for you to make money, and all you needed to do was spend $50 for a cab or something like that to get across town, and then be like, well, I'm not paying that $50 to get across town, but you're not even thinking about the opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Or thinking about the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sometimes we get ourselves in these positions where it's just like, well, I'm not going to pay this to get into this club, or I'm not going to go out here to this event. And you go out to this event and it opened your eyes. Or like Smoke Free Weekend, people came out there, was like, man, I didn't expect to get so much from it. And it was just pretty much, we was really just hanging out. No shows recorded, but people felt the energy. And they were just like, man, like, I'm encouraged to go back and work out. I'm encouraged to go back, and I can't wait for next year. It's not even it's not even a thing. It's not it's these panels and everybody, you got to have all this stuff lined up. It's like, nah, man, we work hard. We take care of our families. Like, we can't have a weekend where we can enjoy ourselves and to be positive. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yo, like, well, what I mean is, look at the bigger picture. Stop focusing on the small things and focus on the big things. You know what I mean? And if it's a small thing in your way, don't look at it as as a burden or a problem. Just knock it out, figure it out, and then you'll get to that to the bigger picture eventually.
I can only imagine though, like what I've really enjoyed about the podcasters that I've interacted with, either via different, Zoom, or the people I record with and have on the show, kind of like you said, you don't know what you're going to get from it. Like, I realize the conversations I have with like-minded people have helped me to grow and inspire me to do more than I even thought I would even want to do when I first started podcasting. And so I can only imagine in a room full of, you know what I mean, creatives, that even just the energy, just because I don't know, the podcast community is just way more supportive than I ever really thought it'd be, and it's honestly more supportive than people I knew before podcasting in regards to podcasting. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say I don't have friends outside of this, because I do. But when it comes to this craft, I've gotten the most support from strangers. Well, they were strangers before, that like I met on Twitter, or,
For sure. And
yeah.
and Tamara, that's one thing for sure. Like, not to cut you off, but
Oh, you're fine.
just think about this. Just think about a smoke-free weekend tee. Now, I could sit up here and complain like, wow, nobody's, buying a t-shirt. Nobody's supporting me. I was like, nah, I'm gonna get these t-shirts made and I'm gonna send them to people.
Mm.
I wasn't passing out t-shirts. I was passing out billboards. And that's why the event was talked about so much. And so when I say stuff like, we focused on, nobody's paying me no attention, but like, yo, put it in their face. Show people that you believe in what you're doing. What people are like, what the fuck is a smoke free? Like, what is a Off-White? What is a Gucci? What is a Bad Boy? What is a Rockefeller? Like, yo, you creating something. Like, think big. Like, why we thinking so small? We are Black. We are dope. We are creators. Like, and people just don't get it. They don't understand. Like, you get in your own way.
And it's funny because if I did, because what I've learned too is this whole no new friends can really be stifling to like your growth when you're trying to do new things. Like the resources that you need, or the networking that I've done within the podcast community, I didn't know any of these people before. And now when I think about even some of the closer relationships I've built with, like, Autumn, Chris, Jay, Audrey, sometimes, podcasting stuff, they've helped me a ton because they've all been doing this more than me. So I'm not really tech savvy a lot of the time. So they've taught me stuff. But even just watching them do things like going live, for example, that's something that I'm just going to be starting to get into. By the time this airs, I'll have had my first live show. Well, that's because of being on Autumn's show doing that. And then even when we did the podcast Happy Hour live, I would have never thought of that. Like, nobody I know outside of podcasting is doing that. And nobody I know outside of podcasting has really given me much advice as far as I've gotten into this. But then I'm noticing that now that I'm stayed consistent, because I'm coming up on a year next month. Dang, I can't never talk. But now I got people coming out of nowhere that I didn't really think you were paying attention. And now you're telling me you're proud of me for keeping on going. Like, every week, faithfully, something is coming out. I'm promoting it. I'm, just being consistent. And now I all of a sudden got people, giving me praise. You don't really do it for that, but it is nice to have the people I care about notice. But had I been caught up in their lack of praise in the beginning, then it's like I would have stopped. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you. And that's normally what happens. You know what I mean? People, outside of your normal friends or family, and even outside of your city. So even like when I started, even with the group, I told people, I said, I'm not thinking about I don't want just a local thing. I came into this with the bigger picture in mind. Like I don't want just to be represented in my city. And guess what? Most of the time, the last people that figure out what you got going on and finally start supporting you is the people that's closest to you and the people in your city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's normally how that go. And so I was just like, nah, let's go talk to these random cats. And, oh, where y'all from? Okay, cool. And you just start building and start networking and start recording with other people. And then your audience grow.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
You know, but like you said, that whole ain't no new friends and this small, like, oh, you know, don't talk to them over there and don't be friends with them. It's just like, yo, this ain't high school. I'm trying to make some money here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build something here for my children. So I like it a little differently than other people. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm almost 40 years old. I'm too old to be in the gang, yo, or a posse. Like, yo, I'm just too old for that.
Yeah.
Like
and
I'm not in pictures sticking on my middle finger at 40. Like I'm not doing that.
Please don't do that. Please
You know what I'm
don't
saying?
be on that. Please.
It's just certain things like we have to change. We have to grow. We have to be better at certain things. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yeah. I definitely. I mean, I show everybody love and I stay out the way and I don't really get caught up in nothing I see on the app that has nothing to do with me. Because at the end of the day, that's where I met everybody, on an app that I can delete from my phone. And you know what I'm saying? If it's that serious, but I really more so just try to focus on showing love and appreciating the good. And the things that irritate me really are more so a lot of times the politics of the industry, but I'm just not a fan of systems and structures a lot of times anyway, because it's always faulty. Usually there's always something that's off within it, because I mean, we're all human. But another point that you said that I thought was super interesting is you said you need haters, but you also said your circle matters. So you were talking about making sure you're hanging around kings and queens, but also at the same time you need haters. So what is the balance? Like how do you feel like haters help you? But then what's the balance with not getting caught up in that and then appreciating the kings and queens that you surround yourself with?
Yeah, haters normally want you to go away. You know, and haters normally come in the form of people just they didn't think about something first. Or it was like, wow, like, it's a real thing. And then, like I said, people just hate you for no reason. Like it could, like I used the example about the pizza, like or pork, or eating swine or whatever. Like, yo, like you don't even really know me. Do we really know each other though?
Right.
I don't think nobody it's only a couple podcasts that actually know my full birth name. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, don't know my birthday, don't know my mom, my dad. And we talk about a lot of things, a lot of topics over the years on these podcasts. And so what? You don't like my opinion about something.
Yeah.
Like, do that mean that I'm a bad person? So I'll just let them continue to hate. And that fuels my energy to be creative. It really do. I promise. Like I work better when my back is up against the wall.
That's
and when people doubt me, you know what I'm saying?
It's kind of funny because I'm kind of that way. I remember when I was getting ready to start college, and the college that I got my bachelor's degree from and the program that I did to do it was kind of like a accelerated program, because I was already 29 when I first started college, graduated when I was 35, had my kids, was working full time. So I didn't have all this time. Like I couldn't not work during the day to go to class and stuff like that. So I work all day, go to class at night. The semesters were 5 weeks. And then I just had to write a paper. So as a writer, I love that because I am not good at taking tests. I always just, nah. And I remember so many people tried to tell me for so many different reasons that they didn't think I should go to school there. And then it's like, well, you shouldn't do the program. And it's like, that was one of the best decisions I could make. A lot of the knowledge that I use, not only in, because my degree is in psychology, so not only in the field that I work in the social work field, but then also it helped me to understand people. It helped me to understand relationship dynamics, boundaries, stuff like that. Like I would kind of process a lot of my issues while doing my homework. You know what I mean? And had I listened, like I wouldn't have did that, but it almost made me want to do it that much more to prove them wrong. Like anytime somebody tells me that they couldn't do something, in my mind I'm always like, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. Like you and I are two different people, and it makes me want to do it that much more. And I don't ever like be like, aha, you said I couldn't do it, or I shouldn't do it. But in my mind, I'm like, aha, they said I couldn't do it, and I did it anyway. And so I definitely feel you on that. So the last thing I wanted to have you, because this was a pretty to the point episode, I kind of gathered that's how you are just by how you
sure.
Just like how you conduct yourself
I'm very random, I like, and I like to be free,
Yeah. But also you're very, like your episodes are very like to the point. Even though they're random, it's still to the point. And you also like, you're very humble, you know what I mean? And constantly seeking to grow. You talk about that in your episodes. And obviously you could tell that by you growing from podcasting to then events. It's still related, kind of to podcasting, but then smoke free media and doing all these different things that there's probably other stuff that you haven't made public yet. But what advice would you offer to my listeners who might be struggling with taking like those next steps towards what they're aspiring to do?
I would say first, just keep well, if you haven't started yet, start, and just keep going. Don't stop. And I would say try to have original content. And your original content is simple. If you 30 years old, you got 30 years of original content. Embrace who you are. No matter if your past is dark, no matter no matter how your life was, if your dad wasn't in your life, if your mom, or if somebody passed away, or if you had a beautiful family growing up and y'all used to pick flowers and walk through whatever, tell your story. Embrace the celebrity inside of you. That's the only way we're going to grow, and that's the only way you're going to grow an audience, because you're going to have like-minded people that may have the same struggles as you. That's going to love you and love your voice. And you got to fall in love with your voice too, though, because I listened to the show today 4 or 5 times on 4 or 5 different platforms. You have to fall in love with your voice. I don't care if like I have broken, I don't say these big words and these real deep meanings. Like, no, I like to get straight to it. I ain't got time to waste. Straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? But for the newcomers, the new people, the new podcasters, the new creators, just start and keep going. Well, like what do you have to lose? Somebody leave a bad comment? Somebody I don't care. Like, man, people gonna say whatever they want to say and then turn around and be like, you know what? Hey, let's work together. That's how fickle people is, man. So you can't focus on everybody else. You have to focus on believing in what you are doing and then everybody else will come around to it.
Yeah, you definitely got to believe in yourself. I saw somebody today that they posted something like promote your stuff like it's somebody else's, because a lot of times the people you know are not going to rock with you like that or something like that.
For
That's me
sure.
super paraphrasing, but it be like that. I'll see people they'll tag me in all their stuff for their business or their whatever. Or I could think of people that I've supported their businesses, like buying products and stuff like that. And I don't expect everybody to listen, because not everybody listens to podcasts, but they don't share a post. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't take an interest in what I'm doing, but they tag me in everything they are doing. And I'm just kind of like, I mean, I'm gonna still support you because that's how I am, but I always try to look at it like, well, it comes back in some way from somebody else. So it always, what goes around comes around, just not necessarily the way I think it's gonna come or the way I think it should go.
For sure.
But yeah, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and drop your gems for my listeners. This was actually really good for me, which is always why I am intentional about who I have on. So tell the people where they can find you, and I'll make sure I put your show link and social media stuff in the episode notes.
Okay. Well, with the I don't know if I made myself clear. And thanks for the compliment about being humble. Like, yo, man, who do we think we are? Like, even the biggest celebrity, they still gotta wake up every day. You know what I'm saying? They still
Yeah.
gotta brush their own teeth. They still gotta. We are just human. You know what I'm saying? And the minute that we start thinking that we are so above or so better, you lost already. You lost. Like, man, like we here to supposed to help each other. Not hurt each other. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we hurt people, and sometimes we say hurtful things, but like at the core, we supposed to be positive and try to encourage one another. You know what I mean? And that's what Smoke Free is about. Like, being positive. Don't come to my event rolling your eyes at nobody. Leave that attitude shit at the house, man. Motherfuckers done spent so much money to get to wherever location we at, and y'all want to start fighting or looking at each other crazy. Keep that shit somewhere else. I'm tired of it, yo.
We too
I'm
old
tired
for
of it.
that.
Too old, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be talking about investments. How can we grow our businesses? How can we? Because guess what? I've support people. I'm just Jackie. She's my accountant. Like, yo, she do my taxes. Like, I met her through podcasting. Ain't no sponsors.
I didn't know she did all that. Go ahead, girl.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no sponsor. Like, who's these sponsors? We got to create this shit. Creator, boom. Oh, what you do? You sell cars? Oh, I'm gonna send somebody your way. You know, we have to create revenue for ourselves. Who, like I said today, who are we waiting on? We waiting for somebody to sign us? You waiting for I've said some miraculous things on miraculous shows. Ain't nobody came. You know what? We gonna give you a deal. Who you waiting? So we got to create our own opportunities. I keep telling people that. And when I move the way I move, people are so offended because they not moving that way. You know what I'm saying? I know you was closing out your show, but I just had to get that off. I'm sorry.
You know what? My listeners listen. I mean, you've listened to my show. It just it be whatever. So I don't. That was good. And it's like, it's the gems people need. You know what I mean? Like, people need to hear that. I need to hear that, especially the create my own opportunities. Like, you've really, I guess we not gonna end yet. You've really, like, as I've been listening, because I listen to a lot of different podcasts while I'm working, especially since I've been working from home, because I'm pretty much home all the time. And what I appreciate about when I listen, especially to your show, is that it reminds me that I can do, like you said, hold on, I gotta find it. You were like, just because you're in one place doesn't mean your mindset mindset can't take you somewhere else.
Right.
And it's funny because I already had my points kind of what I wanted to talk about already mapped out. And then I listened to you today, and some of that stuff I got from today because I was like, whoa, okay, this is, and it's stuff I needed, you know what I mean? And it just keeps me going. Like, I don't have to only do podcasting. I love podcasting, but it doesn't mean that just because I'm doing podcasting doesn't mean I can't, even something like do a live show that's still related to podcasting, but it's a little bit different. Or it made me remember that I gotta, and Spence told me that we recorded yesterday, and I was talking about how I don't like promoting my merchandise because I hate feeling like like begging somebody to buy it. But one of the things he said was, but if you don't do it, who will? And it just reminded me, like, I can't expect that people are just gonna magically be like, oh, I wonder who got some merch. Oh, let me, you know what I mean? I gotta keep it before them. I gotta do that work. I gotta, do whatever I could do to try to, add a little bit more. Cause I mean, we all still working, we all still doing whatever, but every little extra bit helps,
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
even like what I said about what did you just say? That last point.
Oh, you said just because you're in one place doesn't mean your mindset can't
Yeah,
take
for
you
sure.
somewhere
Like
else.
we get in these, like, we be around our friends or family, and everybody else mindset is like, yo, well, we really can't do that. Or because I live in the inner city, that don't mean that my mindset can't see grease.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
see something like you telling me I can't go here or and that's because of where I live.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like, yo, I don't get along well with people with small minds, man.
Yeah.
I really don't, like, and just like that shit drives me crazy. It's just like, yo, man, like we all got the same opportunities. And just because I don't think like you doesn't mean that I'm better than you, or that don't mean that you better than me. I don't walk around thinking I'm better than anybody.
Yeah. And the thing about it too, though, is that, and this is what I've learned about the whole why I say that no new friends things is because a lot of times when you're exposed to new things by being around new people, it helps to open up your mind. And I mean, like, I grew up military, so I've always been around a diverse group of people, but I also have lived in the inner city, like like Omaha is the city that's closest to where I live. I live in a suburb outside of it. And North Omaha is the predominantly black area. So that's the inner city. I've lived there. My mom actually lives there. And the thing about it that I've noticed, though, is that if you only stay around the same type of people and you don't expose yourself to new people and new things, you're only going to have the same type of experiences usually, unless you're just very strong minded and very driven and you are outside of the norm. But a lot of times it's been me being around different people that has made me want to try new things. Or and then if I like it, cool. If I don't, I don't, but then at least I had a dope experience or a funny story out of whatever. And then everything I've ever set my mind to do, I've been able to do it. And so the crazy thing about podcasting is it's opened my eyes to more of the world. Because the beautiful thing about Twitter, I know social media can be a
The
mess,
devil.
but it also is a beautiful place because you meet so many people. Like, the world is so much bigger than Omaha or the city you live in. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's people all over the world, literally, that Twitter never sleeps because the world has so many different time zone. And I don't know.
For sure.
It's really just made me like, I could do anything. And I didn't think like that before because my world was a lot smaller.
For sure.
So
think about this too, though. Like, it's somebody right now that really wants to start traveling, may never been on an airplane before, never been on a boat before, never been, and the reason why they haven't pulled the trigger yet is because of the people that they are around. It's just like, oh, I'm not. Well, you why you want to go there, or why you want to see this? And I was just telling my kid this, like, yo, like I experienced things as a kid. Like, we are robbing our children because all they do is stick their noses in these phones, and as adults we stick our noses in these phones too. And it's just like, put the thing down. Like I said, I picked up the camera. I like to travel, and so you can't put me in a box. I won't allow you to.
Not even Rona stopping you.
No, it's not. I said something's open. I went and I flew to Phoenix and I got on a hot air balloon. I wanted to do that. You get what I'm saying? It's not even, and it's not even like a brag or like a show off. It's like, yo, live your life, man. You people walking around acting like you better than somebody. You can wake up tomorrow and realize you go to the doctor, you got cancer. So now what? You walking around, no hair, you going to chemo, you had to get your breast cut off. Like now you got to humble yourself because you human just like everybody else.
Yeah, and it's funny because life had like experiences that I've had. I don't know if I was ever really a prideful person, maybe, but what I do know is that life has humbled me. I've been a homeowner, and then things happened to where I lost that home and I had to go stay with my mom. I've had cars, I've not. I had a job that it was supposed to be where I was going to finally be doing well financially, and I didn't get paid on time. So it's like it's just always something that's kept me not kept me down, but made me appreciate everything, because everything can be taken. I mean, even little stuff like being to the point where, something simple like, okay, I already have some dish soap. Let me buy at least 1 or 2 bottles extra so that when I run out, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have to go to the store, because I've been where I didn't have that. I've been where I could barely buy toilet paper. Like, I've been all over the place when it comes to finances and all kinds of stuff. And the thing about it is, with the girl's dad being killed, I think that's what made me really realize how you could be here today and gone tomorrow, and how you need to just like go for whatever. And
that's sad, man. Jeez.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago, so it's not like it was recent, but it still sucks because
you never forget stuff like that, man.
Exactly. And then like my daughter's birthday is Halloween, so milestones just always are triggers or whatever. But the thing about it though is it made me realize that, one, I don't need to hold grudges. Either we gonna talk it out and squash it and agree to disagree, or if we can't, then maybe we need to part ways. But I'm not about to be walking around here bitter
or upset.
Yeah, why waste my energy? And so I really just am all about love and trying to help people. And that's kind of what I appreciate about what I know of you. Even like when I asked you to come on my show and you're like, do you need me to do anything? Like, that kind of threw me off, because I was like, oh, I mean, no. Like, nobody has ever asked me that. They just, and I'm not saying they have to, but that just shows how genuine it is that you really want to help people. Like, you're not just saying that on the podcast, and you're not out here saying I do this and that. And that's where I say the humility comes from, because there are people that have told me that you've reached out to them and offered to help them with their show or this, that, and the other, or gave them advice. And I heard that from somebody else, not you. You know what I mean? And so but I also don't hear you on your show saying, yeah, I did this, I did that. And so that's where that humility and that authenticity comes from.
For sure. And sometimes when I get in my little bag, sometimes I will have little rants like that. But it has to, someone has to take me to that point. You know what I'm saying? And to get me to that point is not a good place because it's uncontrollable. You know what I mean? People have confided in me through this podcast thing. People have told me some of their biggest, darkest secrets, and it's just like, yo, man, all I can do is just be here. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, who am I? I'm nobody, but that keep me relevant though. It really do. Just me reaching out, like, and just being genuine keeps me relevant. And I want people to really listen to that. Like, yo, be real about it. Like, don't just hit people up just to get on their show. Don't hit people up just to, be on the scene. Like, I don't operate that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, man, I'm gonna mess with you because I want to mess with you. You're not gonna put me in this circle of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that so much about our culture. Just it's always got to be a group. Always has to be a thing. Like, nah, you make it what you want to make it. Don't tell me I can't wear Reebok jogging pants with a pair of Nikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I do what I want to do, man. I ain't no rule. These motherfuckers ain't living by no rules.
Yeah. And the thing about it is people can tell, like, I know me, and this is something I've talked about it on here, and I talk about it even more in depth with people. I'm starting to go on rants a little more the more I see stuff in like the community that I feel like that's not cool. But you can tell when people are authentically rock with you versus what they feel like they can get from you. You can tell when, if you have a certain guest on your show and people want to comment and this, that, and the other, but they pay no attention to your show when it's a solo show. But when they see you got so-and-so on there, like, I see all that, and I hate it. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, we're all just regular people.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I haven't had a guest yet. And I don't know when I'm gonna have a guest on, because I'm proving it to myself that, one, I can do it. And then two, I don't care how people feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. I may drop after we get off tonight. Like,
you really just drop. Like,
who's gonna stop me? Who said you only supposed to drop on a Tuesday?
Oh, I know, but it's just funny because I have my little rotation, and I went back and I was like, damn, like, when did he even tweet all this? Like, where did these episodes come from?
Guess what? If people making fun of, like, damn, you got another show? Yes. And guess what? I may be done with this show this week and then start another one 6 months from now. I don't care. Like, who's making these rules?
Yeah. No, I mean, there really aren't any. I mean, there probably maybe are. I'm not going to say I know them all, but I'm glad, going back to what you said about not having guests, I'm glad that the first pretty much 9 months of my show, I didn't have any guests, because I know I could carry the show on my own without,
for sure.
And no shade, because I love group shows and I love shows with co-hosts, and obviously
you got to throw the disclaimer out there.
Yeah. No shade. But as a solo podcaster, because I came into this by myself, I am glad now that I'm starting to have a lot of guests, because now I've met, because the thing about it with my show is I talk about, I mean, sometimes people draw stuff out of me that I didn't even know we were going to talk about, because it's just where the conversation goes. And I got to have those types of conversations with people that, one, I already have some sort of rapport with, or two, I feel comfortable. You know what I mean? And so now that I've met so many people, and I'm like, man, I want to have this person on because I want to talk about this, and I already see this is what they're on, not make up something just to have them on the show, because that's not how my show is. My show is based on what I'm on and where I'm at in life. But now that I'm having all these guests, I am glad that I did do all that time alone, because it's like, okay, if people decide, hey, I don't want to be on the show, no love lost, I'll still support you, but I know I could still carry it, you know what I mean? Like on my own, and still come up with, excuse me, content. But I just think it's dope when I have a guest, because I've noticed it brings things out of me that I wouldn't have thought of necessarily on my own, because I'm feeding off like what you're saying. I didn't have none of this stuff. We were supposed to end about 20 minutes ago, I thought, but
yeah. I wasn't ready to end yet.
and I was just trying to honor your time, because I know we only have so much time, but I love when the conversation just goes wherever, because I always look at it as, this is for me. And then the guests, I mean, the listeners, they get to hear it, but these conversations be for me, you know what I mean? And what I'm getting from it. And so, yeah, this is, I think we're done now. Or do you got more?
No, I don't have anything more, man. Like I know I talk about a lot of the same things and I say the same things, but I really want people to get that in their head. Like, yo, you do your own thing though. And like you said, you comfortable enough where you don't have to rely on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I what I want you to practice is, if you got something to say and it's not a traditional day that you normally drop a show, just throw something out there. Any type of bonus content, any type of how you feeling for the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you can, this is your show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grow it and build it how you want to.
You're confirming, because I actually dropped a bonus episode today because I needed to talk about something. The grief episode, I don't know if you saw that I tweeted it, but it's a grief episode that I did with Baylor and Mike from Off the Record. And that was based off, I wanted to do another grief journal episode, but I wanted to talk with others, you know what I mean, that have suffered a loss. And so we did the show together. We recorded Friday and it dropped today ahead of other scheduled episodes, because I wanted to get that out right, you know what I'm saying, right away. And so I'm this season kind of getting into that, because I'm understanding that I really can do what I want. Like the only rule I have for myself is consistency with putting out content, just because it's healthy for me and it's a good outlet. But I'm learning I could literally do anything. I could talk about anything. The show could be whatever I want it to be, because like you said, it's my show. And I'm kind of, now that I see this is actually what I enjoy doing, because I wasn't, I'm surprised I'm still doing it, because I just haven't done well with staying consistent with other creative projects in the past. But now that it's like, okay, yeah, this is really what I'm on. Now I'm trying to grow it. And so everything you've said has been confirmation for me for stuff that you didn't even know I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about these conversations with people.
For sure. I mean, we have to keep encouraging each other. And of course, you know, everybody got busy lives, and you know, we want to, you know, listen and support as much as we can, you know. And like I said, like I get tired of recording. I get tired of listening to podcasts. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, you know, how many shows we gonna listen to about Tory Lanez, you know, shooting like how many shows? Like, can we? How do we evolve? How do, like, you talk about the larger name podcast to the smaller name podcast, you know, talk about the same thing. It gets old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, again, no shade to anybody at all, because I do enjoy.
Of course,
you know
like,
what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not dogging nobody.
What I'm saying
I
is,
know.
Yo, let's evolve. Like talk about your own shit.
And that's,
you know what I'm saying? Like, are you show how you are important. Show why you doing your show.
Yeah. And that's what my show is. My show is like a journal of my life. And the cool thing is, I remember what my first, not like everything I said in my first episode, but I remember what it was about. The whole episode was me talking about how I struggle with vulnerability and being vulnerable with people. And I was wrestling throughout all of season 1 and 2 of whether or not I have feelings for a friend of mine. And I'm just talking about it on the show, like obviously not saying who, and how much I've grown as a person. Forget a podcaster, because this is just a reflection of who I am as a person. How much I've grown as a person by doing this. And then it's like, now I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? Like, what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? Do I want to talk about my life, or do I want to talk about somebody else's life? Do I want to do this, or do I want to do that? And it's like, I can do whatever I want to do. And the people that are going to rock with it, they're going to rock with it. But I'm never going to do anything to try to get anybody to listen. I'm always going to do what I feel like I want to do. And if you appreciate it and you appreciate me, cool. And if not, what I do know is it may not be for everybody. And I've been saying that the whole time, is like, who's for you is for you, and who's not is not. And I want people that are for me, not the people who fake mess with me. I'm not with all that. Okay. I'm gonna do the weekly podcast shout out. Unless you got anything else.
No, I'm all right. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. So this week is Virtuous Optimist podcast. This is a podcast I listen to. I told you I would tell y'all that. She kind of, from what I gather, the shows I've listened to, is she'll have a musical artist on there or somebody in the musical industry, and they'll just talk about either the artist, their music, but also their life, play different songs and all that stuff. So she's just, I can't think of the host's name, but she just really has such a great vibe that I get just by listening to her. She's probably like a really positive person, you know what I mean? So I'll have the link in the episode notes. Get y'all some merch, you know what I'm saying? It's hoodie season. I'm promoting that because, fellas, this is what you could do. I feel like this is a great idea. Buy 2 hoodies, right? Spray your cologne on one and just give it to your girl, so you ain't even got to worry about her stealing it, because she only wants it because she wants your scent and something of yours. Buy 2, wear it, spray your stuff, let her think she stole it, but you really got 2. So get some merch.
My problem with that, the other one gonna be missing too. We can't never had nothing.
Well, we'll get to.
Yeah, you know, as spray your cologne and be like, oh, you got a man. Yeah, spray her down, fellas. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, get y'all some merch. No, you good. But yeah, get y'all some merchandise and take care of your mental health, your emotional, physical, all that good stuff, your spiritual health. Like, just really take care of yourselves out here. Like we kind of said, you could be here today and gone tomorrow. And part of that is your mental, your spiritual. Like, y'all know, for me, it's my relationship with God. But whatever that is for you, so that you could be healthy, do what you got to do. Thank y'all for listening. I know I told y'all we was going to be done about 30 minutes ago, but y'all already know what it is. So I appreciate y'all sticking with us, and make sure y'all come back next week.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...